Okay, so let's get down to business and get raw and get real. I want to talk a little bit about before Beachbody coaching, who I was before Beachbody coaching. So I'm going to rewind just a little bit back. I'm going to kind of go all the way back to high school. So in my life, I came from a broken home, and so I spent my teenage years without guidance and without a mother who would make you feel beautiful and teach you a lot of things along the way as growing up as a woman. So I kind of had to figure that out myself, and I was surrounded by friends, so the people you're influenced most by at that age, I feel like, and I had older cousins. So with that being said, I had to find myself at a young age of who I was, and um, I went through the journey that probably most people go through of, you know, comparing myself to everybody, wishing that, maybe I had a better home life, wishing, I'd be at my friends and be like, wow, I wish I had a house like this, or I wish I had this, or I wish I had this. And so at a young age, I started wishing for the things that I didn't have. And then as I got into high school, I started, comparing myself to other girls and comparing my body and looking at the number on a scale. And a lot of my friends around me were talking about dieting and taking back then when I was in high school, I know this is cheesy, but like Hydroxycut and all those weight loss pills. And so I started questioning myself, like, am I fat? Like, my friends are wearing size 0 and I'm wearing like a 5 or a 6. And then I moved to wearing like a 7, and I'm like, am I fat? Like, and then you get into that stage of like dating boys, and you're worried about what you look like. And for all of you that knew me before, I would wear a lot of makeup. Like I didn't want freckles, so I'd cover my face in makeup. I mean, like, cake it on. So I can laugh about it now because I've grown so much, but if you knew who I was before, I would wear hoodie sweaters, sweatpants, or warm-up pants, and I'd wear a lot of makeup. I didn't come from a lot of stuff, so I didn't really have a lot of options when it came to, going shopping with my mom or any of that kind of stuff. So those things just didn't happen in my life. This isn't to make you feel sorry for me, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a history of where I came from and where I'm going, right? So with that being said, I started, dating boys and hanging out with guys. And my boyfriend then, but husband now, I started hanging out with him. And I never really had this no confidence. Like I kind of always had like confidence, or I didn't really think about confidence, but I never had like these self-esteem like issues until I started being called fat. And I started getting made fun of for a lot of things. And at that age, when you're 18 and 19, it's hurtful. Like, it's so hurtful. Like, I hate the word fat. Like, that's just so stupid. I mean, I know it's a term, but being called fat is so, like, at that age is so hurtful. And I know that even now, I mean, now people, like, if someone was to call me fat, I probably would still take it to heart because that's who I am. But I know better, right? Like, now I know better. Like, okay, whatever. That's just, a reflection of you. Like, I know I'm working on a better person, So, but it's very hurtful as a girl. So, as college went on, like, I went into school, I really, really took that to heart, being called fat and being made fun of for my appearance. So I started like self-sabotaging, right? Like questioning like the scale and the size of my pants and the sizes that I was wearing. I would cut out all the tags of my pants because I didn't want anyone to ever see that I wore like a size 8. Or I think at one time I bought like a pair of pants that were a size 10. Like I would never want anyone to ever see that, right? I would never want anyone to see that I was 142 pounds. That's how much I weighed. And I just, nope, I would never. I would lie about my weight. I lied about it on my driver's license. I started finding myself trying to get like low fat this, diet Coke. And I was completely lost on what to do, right? So I started working out. But when I was working out, I wasn't working out in a healthy way. I became a complete cardio bunny. And I would just do hours and hours on the elliptical. I'd run. I never lifted weights, but I'd always just, work out, work out, work out, work out. And then I'd find myself in college, like eating something super cheap, and I would eat like ramen noodles and Diet Coke, and I would think that that was a nutritional thing, and I would start counting calories, and it got to a point where it was so bad. Like I was really comparing my body to everybody. I mean, even magazines. I'll never forget, like I picked up magazines and I kept looking at people's bodies and comparing myself and trying to hide who I was. Like I don't know how many years I spent wearing a tube top dress that like was not form fitting and wasn't tight because I didn't want anyone to ever see my body. Like ever, right? So college, right? You start drinking. So I would go out on the weekends, drink, and I would just get so wasted that I would just make myself throw up, right? So I was creating this habit, and I hate saying that out loud. Still, I mean, it's getting better that I can, confess this to the world, but I used to drink and make myself throw up, right? And if I knew we were going out drinking, I would do 2 hours on the elliptical. I would drink 7 or 8 beers or whatever I drink, and then I'd make myself throw it up. And I was letting it consume my mind. I was counting every calorie in my mouth, and I was trying to eat only 1,200 calories a day. And I realized that I was giving myself like a full-on mental eating disorder. And I could not stop counting calories. I could not stop thinking about food. I could not stop comparing myself to other people. I didn't want to shop with anybody. I didn't want anybody to ever see me in a bikini. I hated the summer. I hated putting a bathing suit on. You guys, I hated trying a bathing suit on. I didn't want to wear spandex because I fucking had cellulite. Like, my whole world was focusing on this. And it was like I was putting all my energy into these horrible habits. And I ended up graduating college in 2010, and I moved with my husband into, with him as he traveled. And so I thought, well, this is awesome. Like, I graduated college, and now I'm going to, my husband plays basketball, by the way, professional basketball. And so I was like, I'm going to travel with him, and, we're going to, I don't have to do anything, right? I'm just going to live this life. I'm going to be this, housewife. I'm going to be, this, basketball wife, lay on the beach, hang out. And by the way, let me just, rewind back to this part. My husband would always say, you're so beautiful. I love you so much. And I would try and tell him, I would be I just am not happy with myself. And he would just say, you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. And at that point, it didn't matter what anyone said because I felt so shitty about myself, right? I was creating this person, and I just was self-sabotaging. I would weigh myself every morning. I was just waiting for it to change. I don't even want to talk about it. It's so awful, the things that I do or did. And I just I don't want anyone to ever go through that because it was horrible. It's not even a way to live your life. You need food to eat. You need to realize that it's a part of your life and there's a healthy way to go about it. So, with that being said, I went and traveled with my husband, right? So this whole like dream come true, like you live the life, right? People don't realize that I was completely stripped away from the United States and I was alone a lot of the time. And I kind of started realizing that my life was passing me by. And I was now on top of triggering, my issues with my weight and food. I started like excessively working out and getting anxiety and finding myself being depressed, right? So, with that being said, I would find myself like staying up all night watching series on Netflix, sleeping all day, and like starving myself, right? And working out and just doing it all again. And then I would focus on something and it would give me anxiety so bad. Like my heart would be like racing and adrenaline. And I was just literally causing myself these fucking like things. I was doing this all to myself. Like I was literally giving myself all of these problems that I did not need to have. So I had a friend who kept asking, because I kept saying, I meant to do something. I meant to help people. I meant to do something more. And I know that I am. And I got to find my way because I'm lost. And I need to find like a meal plan. And I need to change. I knew I needed to change because what the habits I was creating were so unhealthy. And I could have fell into those habits. And so I realized that when my friend kept asking me about the Beachbody opportunity, I was like, I kept pushing it off, brushing it off, and I was skeptical. I didn't know what it was. I didn't even care to learn about it. And, I was just ignoring it. And then finally she was like, you should try it because it will save you like a lot of money on, the protein that you're trying to drink now. And I was like, well, let me try it, like I'll try it. Because that right there was like, save money. I can like take my superfoods and vitamins and my protein all in one and save a lot of money. Okay, like let's try that. So during this time when she was asking this, I also recently just helped my husband who had high cholesterol and high blood pressure change his diet because they wanted to put him on high blood pressure and high cholesterol medication. And I didn't know much about it, but I just knew it wasn't a good idea. I knew it was just all through diet. And you know how guys are, right? So we changed his diet and I saw it like firsthand that it changed him. And I was like, wow, like, so it piqued my interest a little bit more. Like, I think we're onto something here. So I kept surrounding myself with people that I aspired to be more like, people who paid attention to their health and fitness and did it in a healthy way and found nutrition and were hitting goals. And my coach was, I aspire to be like her all the time. She is banging, like that was like goals of mine. And so I realized like I'm a grown woman, right? Like I need to take charge of my life. I need to stop creating these horrible habits and, doing the ebbs and flows of, causing myself anxiety and making myself depressed and focusing all my energy on, self-esteem and not being perfect because it doesn't exist, right? And so this is who I was. And then when I decided to sign up for Shakeology for the discount and become a Beachbody coach, I saw the opportunity. There was this opportunity. There was this meal plan that took all the thinking out of food for me and taught me how to eat right and taught me how to eat clean, right? And then there was this opportunity to help others do the same. Like, just help them. Like, just really, like, your friend or your family member that you're like, hey, come do this workout with me. Come, do this meal plan with me. At my point in my life, I was in a different country. I didn't speak the language. And all I had was Shanti and Insanity and his meal plan. And it changed me. And so as I kept going with coaching, and offering this to people, just helping them do what I needed to and holding myself accountable, I started seeing these changes in my body. And I was like, oh my God, like we're onto something. Like I'm onto something. I'm starting to feel good. Like, yes, like finally, like I couldn't do a push-up and now I could do push-ups. And I'm getting this definition where I never had definition. And I didn't have to spend an hour on the elliptical. I only had to spend 30 minutes. Like what am I doing? And I've eaten so much food today and it's good food and I feel good. And as it just kind of unfolded of my own accountability and following these programs and helping other people do the same, I started to like get this breath of fresh air. Like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like this is what I was supposed to do. Something that I was completely skeptical about, like learning about. I was missing it, and I kept saying my prayers about this, like help me find something, help me change my mindset. I gotta change, and then it was right there in front of me. And it took me about 4 times to say yes to this opportunity. And when I did, I realized that it changed who I was, it changed my body. And I got to help other people do the same. And so I just had this fire like inside me. Okay, so with that being said, something that we do as coaches is personal development, and it's like brain food, right? It's you read these books, you listen to them, and you master your mindset. So a book that I highly recommend for anybody who's not even a coach is Start Punch Fear in the Face by John Acuff, or You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. These books I read them and I was like, holy shit, like I can do this, right? Like I can be a badass. So in 2 years, I have completely mastered my mindset. I'm able to talk about the girl that I once was, that I had to find my way through all of this bullshit. Like, stop comparing yourself to other people. There's no such thing as perfect. You have to realize that you can only become the best version of you. You are your power. You have the ability to help other people, right? Help other people the way that you needed help. And so when I realized that the only way to get what I wanted was to give it to other people, my whole freaking life changed. So I don't have anxiety. I'm not depressed at all. I don't compare myself at all. I would never, ever, ever throw up my food, ever. I'm so happy that I don't count calories, that I don't starve myself. I have changed so drastically in the biggest area of my life, the foundation. The health and fitness, like your nutrition and your ability to exercise is like the foundation of your life, right? Your body's your temple. So how are you treating it? How are you feeling it? I no longer am stuck in this like mindset, and I am now here. So Beachbody has done that for me in so many ways. With that being said, something that we'll continue to talk about in the sneak peek is what I've earned in return, right? So yes, I've earned money and I've earned free trips and I've earned gifts, but the reward of helping somebody else is so much greater than that. And I've earned me, like I've earned myself back, and it feels so good. I fell in love with me again. I'm happy. I'm able to do the things I want to do, and my relationship is better because I'm not focused on bullshit and I'm focused on real life, right? And pushing forward. So me before Beachbody was just a period of my life, and who I am now is so much greater, and I have so much more to give, so much more to offer. And I just want to really thank you for letting me share just pieces of me with you. I've only been coaching for 2 years, and I can tell you that it's hard work and it's a lot of learning and journeying into yourself, learning more about yourself, finding out who you are, what you want to be. And what makes you so special is that you're not like any other coach, or you're not like any other person in the world. And so you have a lot to offer. I was extremely lost in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I felt like I was just wasting my time, giving it all to my husband's dream, and I was focusing on all the negative. And because of Beachbody, I have changed that around completely, and I feel independent and I feel on fire for life. So I was kind of tearing up a little bit because it's so emotional to me, and I'm so thankful for it. I have a really beautiful team, and I'm just so happy that I got to share this opportunity with you. And so we'll move on in the sneak peek, and we'll talk about more of how to earn money and what we do exactly on a daily basis as a coach. Thank you so much for listening. I know it was a little bit of a long video, but if you have any questions, or if you share any things that are similar to me, I'd love to hear about them in the comments below.